All right. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Here we are, another exciting episode of Prop Talk by the PMG, the Property Masters Guild, here with Mikey Trudel, as usual.
Hey there.
Hey. And again, we're all massively remote. Again, we're three quadrants of the country. Today, we're with Doug Ware, right?
Yes.
From in New Orleans. How are you, Doug?
I'm doing well.
Excellent.
Trying to avoid the heat.
Yeah, right. I mean, that seems to be nationwide right now.
Yeah.
And I think there's a hurricane barreling down, but it's not heading in your direction.
No, luckily
It's heading in Mikey's direction.
What?
It'll be nothing by the time it gets to you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But so today we're doing something new for us too. We're having Doug on partially because Doug is going to be on the cover of the new prop. Whoop, I'm buzzing.
Prop culture.
Yeah, thank you. Prop Culture magazine that's coming out soon for his show.
Jeez.
Sinners. Yeah, did you not know that? Surprise!
I knew there was an article. I didn't know it was the cover.
It's the cover, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Which is awesome.
I got to tell my mom.
Yes, please do. So that's exciting. Where do we start? I mean, I want to start with how you got started, because I see that you're fairly new to prop mastering, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And what were you doing? You had a couple assistant jobs before that, but you haven't been in the industry altogether that long, right?
Yeah. It was actually a grip first.
Okay.
I'm originally from Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I actually went to college to be a teacher.
Wow.
I wanted to teach either high school or elementary school.
Well, that's a big span.
Yeah. And then I had this pivot. And I got into the movie industry. I think first movie I did was 2008, 2007
in Nebraska.
In Nebraska.
Wow.
It
was something just like coming through town, and then you're like, let's see what I can do to get onto this, or just like piqued your interest.
So what happened was, it's kind of a long story. I'll try and shorten it. When I was going to college, I was taking a World Civ class, and my instructor gave me this pamphlet or this brochure about history majors that might have an interest in making documentary films for PBS. So I kind of read into it, and then I started kind of doing my own research into like filmmaking and all those production things. And one of the things I read was, if you can't afford to go to film school, find a local production and volunteer as a PA. So that was something I remembered. And so a year, 2 or 3 years later, that actually happened. I met somebody who was shooting a like ultra low budget movie. And I was like, hey, if you need a PA, I'm available. And they're like, yeah, so call this person, blah, blah, blah. So I started as a PA, but the movie was so small, they didn't have a lot of grips. So they're like, hey, we need somebody to go into the grip department. You look fairly competent. So, so can you go help out in the grip department? And so from there, it kind of just snowballed. I did a couple other shows I did 4 or 5 really low budget movies in Omaha as a grip.
Wow.
But then, this is how small the world is, a sort of bigger show came to town. It was called Lucky with Colin Hanks. So it had it had a little bit of money. But Leonard Marchand was the prop master.
Right.
And so I met him.
From New Orleans.
Yeah. And so I was actually working with his wife. She was the set decorator.
Okay.
Right. So they needed somebody in that department. So she said, hey, can you come help us out? Because I had some friends that were also in that department. But then while we were still in Omaha, she got another show in New Orleans. When that one was finished, she said, "Hey, if you move to New Orleans, I'll
Wow.
hire you."
Wow.
So it's like Omaha, Nebraska, New
Yeah,
Orleans,
right.
easy decision.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks later, I packed up and moved to New Orleans. I worked with her on that show. But then
Nice.
Leonard kept calling me. He was like, "Hey, can you come day play on this show, a couple
Mm-hmm.
other shows?" And then I just made the switch right around, and this was like 2009, right when the Saints won the Super Bowl. So it was a good time to move
Yeah.
to New Orleans. But anyway, it kind of working with Leonard, I was like, I think I want to do props. I don't, no disrespect to our grip friends, but that stuff is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's heavy. It's rough on the
Yeah.
body.
That's how I felt
Yeah,
about set dressing.
yeah. And so I made the switch to props, and I haven't looked back.
Oh, Leonard helped then. Is
Oh
he,
yeah.
he stepped out? Is he still out of the prop world for now, or is he has
Um,
he made his way back yet?
I don't know
Yeah.
because work is so slow. I
I was gonna
haven't been
say
able
there's no
to.
work,
Oh,
so
Yeah,
no.
he
I
may
haven't.
want to come back, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't run across them
so
in a while.
but you jump right to prop mastering pretty quick though, right?
Um, it
I
it
mean, how many?
it took a while. I mean, I did a couple of prop assistant jobs with Guillaume. I can never pronounce Guillaume's
Guillaume
last name.
Deluge.
Deluge, yeah.
Deluge did Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter,
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
and then he came back and did Jurassic World.
Nice.
So I did a couple of prop assistant jobs, and then I was on a television show with another prop master. She did the first 3 seasons, and then she moved back to LA.
Mm,
And so the production designer and some of the producers and the showrunners were like, "Well, let's let Doug do it. He's been here."
Knows
And
the
so
show. Yeah.
knows the show. Yeah. So I did the
right,
last 4 seasons. That was Queen Sugar. That was one of
right.
Ava's shows.
So that was your first out as a prop master.
Yes. I
Wow.
did a
So
in
that must have
between.
been
Sorry.
a. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you
In
go.
between a couple of seasons of Queen Sugar, I did prop master a really low budget
Mm-hmm.
movie, but it was a prop department of one.
Right.
So that's how small it was.
No doubt. So it must have been a pretty steep learning curve then doing episodic TV and budgeting and all that, right? How did
Yes, yes.
you
I
have
had a
somebody
lot of
helping you with that?
help. And some of it is just dive in and figure it out.
Right.
Um,
So much of what we do.
yeah, I've done enough shows where I've talked to either if the assistant prop master was doing some of that paperwork, some of that clerical stuff,
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
or if they had a shopper that was doing it, I would kind of pick their brain. I got lucky. I hired a shopper who was also in the art department the first couple of seasons of Queen Sugar, and she was doing some of their, paperwork,
Mm-hmm.
and so she definitely helped me out with that.
Nice, nice.
So it's
Was,
it's there's a lot that goes into it that a lot of
yeah.
people don't know about.
That's
When you
true.
showed up in New Orleans, was it easy to like get involved with their unions and stuff like that, or how was that transition?
It took a while. It was, I think at the time when I moved here, you had to have 30 day, no, I think it was 45 days on the show.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so some of the shows I worked on, I was day playing, so it was hard to get those days, consecutively. But once Leonard got a couple shows back to back to back, it kind of it was fairly easy. I didn't, maybe unlike some other people, I think I had a little easier path. I didn't have any. Well, yeah, it took a while to get some of those days, but aside from that, I think it was fairly
Yeah.
easy to get the union.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I mean, coming blindly to New Orleans and not being union, I feel like that's the scariest part, probably, right?
Yeah, because working in Nebraska at the time,
Yeah,
there wasn't any kind of film union. It was just find somebody off the street and say,
Right.
hey, can you come do this thing for me? I'll
yeah,
pay you, I'll feed you, and hopefully we'll still be friends at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully there'll be enough work to keep you
Yeah, yeah.
in the loop. So, um, coming into it must have been again difficult to. I mean, when you were in it was Omaha, right? That you were
Yes.
living in, and you were working as a grip. Did you notice props? Was that something like piqued your interest, or was it until somebody asked you to come in the art department?
Yeah. I did some of the shows that I did in Nebraska. It was the art department was every department.
Right.
So set dressing,
Yep.
props, it was costumes even on some shows. It was all one department. They just referred to it as as the art department.
Right.
But then I did a show called 2001 Maniacs.
Okay.
It was kind of a remake or an updated version. And the same thing, it was just an art department. But some of the props that they had, I was like, this is really cool. Like
Yeah.
it's like something I've learned is people gravitate towards the prop department just looking at the stuff they might have like laid out on the table.
Right.
So it does kind of pique your interest when you see
Yeah.
some of the cool stuff they get to do.
Well,
We
sure.
get to do.
And as a grip, you're on set, so the person in the art department you're seeing the most is the prop master, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think the first time I stepped onto a prop trailer, I was just overwhelmed. It was just like, oh my gosh, this is heaven.
Yeah.
Sometimes those trailers are a mess, but
Yep.
I mean, that's what we do. But it's just like, oh my God, let me look at this. Let me go touch this. Let me pick this up. What is this? What show was this from? So it's,
Right.
I, at one time when I was younger, I think I was in junior high, my father asked me what job I wanted to have. And I said, well, I want to be a pool cleaner. It's like, why? It's like, why do you want to be a pool cleaner? It's like, because I want to have a truck and all this stuff in the back
Oh, that's awesome.
and just drive around.
Right.
It's kind of the same. I'm kind of,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
a prop trailer.
A little bigger of a truck.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a quote right there. I want to have this truck with all this stuff in it and drive
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I worked with Drew Petrata on
Wow.
The Free State of Jones. And I happened to be standing next to him when his cell phone went off. Well, his cell phone ringer is the theme to Sanford and Son.
Nice.
Because they had a junkyard.
Right.
And I just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you work with Guillaume and you work with Drew Petrata. That's some pretty good mentors, right? So did you learn a lot from these guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
when I was in prep for Sinners, I actually called Drew. And he was like, if you need anything, just call me. I mean, it's like I've taken from every prop master that I've worked with, I've taken something from them. I've learned something from them. And so you may not recognize it at the time, but then when you're in that situation or you need to scramble and get something, you kind of fall back on some of those things you've learned from some of those guys.
Yeah.
And it's like on the job training.
Yeah, 100%. That's how it's always been. But again, you've done well pretty quick. I mean, you did 45 episodes, Queen Sugar. That
yeah.
Really late. And again, this is an episodic, right? So
yes.
Were you doing the whole prepping and then you had a set crew?
Yeah. I would do, since there's a director for each episode, I would have to go to those meetings for the next episode. And my assistant prop master, her name is Melissa Waltrip, and we've worked together, I don't know how long, but I turned set over to her. I completely trust her. I give her the green light to make any of those decisions that happen on the day, which happens all the time, unless it's some big budgetary decision that needs to be made. Other than that, I let her run that so I can prep the next episode. And that was something that I had to learn, like being an assistant prop master and you're running set, then you go to prop master, you have to kind of let go of some of those things.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah. It's hard for prop masters who've been doing it for 30 years.
And you're just putting so much effort and energy and creativity into what you're doing, and then you just it's like turning your baby over to the nanny. It's like, okay, there you go. You're gonna love it as much as I do. That's why I always say I just can't be on set because I see stuff that, I wouldn't do. And it's like, it's not
Mhm.
that it's wrong or it's not that it's not happening. It's just not the way I would do it. I'm like, okay, I gotta go.
Right. And the
But
thing is, I can't remember where I heard it. It was something about props, like nobody knows, nobody cares how much it costs. Nobody cares what you had to go through to get it.
right.
As long as it's there on the day and it serves its purpose, then
That's it.
yeah,
That's it. At the end of the day.
yeah,
And it's true. It's like nobody knows what you went through to get there.
yeah,
Like Paul
yeah,
Baker talking about that story about getting all those doves. Remember, he had to
Yeah.
like run out and get a bunch of doves for, I think it was Barry White, right? Wasn't a Barry White video or something like that? He had to get
Yeah.
all
oh,
these
jeez.
doves and shove them all in his car. And it was like last minute he got there and they got him, and it all worked out, but nobody knew what he went through.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty
yeah.
funny. And
On
so, what's your crew like? I mean, so on something like Queen Sugar, I mean, is it you and then somebody on the outside and then two people on set, or
What did we have? I had a assistant prop master, I had a prop assistant, and I had a props buyer,
okay, good.
and then myself. So yeah,
That's
three
legit,
on set, and I could walk away.
right?
Um, and Queen Sugar was episodic TV is I don't want to say it's easy, but there's so much that goes into it, but it's I don't want to come off as saying it's
no,
easy. It's definitely difficult,
you get into a
Yeah,
flow.
but
I think there's a it's
yeah,
you
right.
get into a flow. I feel like it starts hard, but
Yeah,
then you get
yeah,
into like a
a
rolling
rhythm.
method, a
Yeah.
rhythm. Yeah, there we go. I think that I mean if you ask me with time for that, I think like I'm working on a feature right now and it's just always stressful. I think whereas like, oh, when you get on TV, it's stressful until you get past the second. And it's still stressful, don't get me wrong, like
mhm,
through your waves, but I feel like you get into a flow.
yeah,
Well, it is, and it's kind of like a freight train, though. I mean, I'm on episode 9 of my show, and we're
mhm,
definitely, going full speed ahead.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
and again, as soon as you feel like you're comfortable and you got it mostly in the bag, the next episode's sitting on your script, on your, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you have the curse of comedy on with you too, which adds a whole nother, I feel like, layer to the madness and props.
Oh, wow. Sorry about that. I started hearing music and it was coming from my watch. I'm like, what is this God calling me? I'm like, that was weird. Sorry. Yeah. But and the thing about features is that for me is that once you start rolling, there's
mhm,
an end date and you're getting to
yeah,
that date and then it's going to be over. Where TV, there's just no end date. You're just
yeah,
perpetually ripping your hair out.
yeah,
So, how did you hook up on Nickel Boy? That was a pretty big show. Pretty big.
yeah. One, I didn't even know that was being turned into a movie.
Uh-huh.
Two, I didn't even know it was being shot in New Orleans. Um,
Okay.
One of the things I do a lot in my spare time is read, and I
Mm-hmm.
read that book when it first came out,
Nice.
maybe 2 or 3 years before. So then when I saw it on our production report, I was like, okay, I have to find a way to get on this movie. Um,
Oh, so you sought it out.
yeah, well,
Just really familiar with it. That's awesome.
yeah. Um, and I think the UPM I had worked with before on a different
Mm.
show. I can't even remember what show it was, but I know I'd worked with him. And so he called me and I was like, okay, this something is happening. This is just either luck or
Or
being
it's
in the
meant to
right place
be.
at the right time or just kind of manifesting wanting to do this
Yeah.
show. And so
Yep.
I got the call and the production designer, Nora Mendez, she called me and we talked and she had there was a couple of people she interviewed. Um, but I think knowing the book, because I told her I had read it and
Yes.
loved it, kind of gave me a slight advantage.
100%.
But yeah, that movie was, and that was the first period movie
Mm.
that I've done. So there was a lot that when it's just the research
Yeah.
Yes.
was a lot of work.
Yeah. A lot of cool stuff there too, probably.
Yeah.
the bikes and
Yeah, the
a lot of
bikes. The we had to find milk cartons, the trays from the reformatory school,
Right. Yeah.
the bedpan, the bedpans. That was
Is
fun.
where and did you source all that stuff through shopping in around the state, or did you import a lot of stuff from LA?
A little bit of both. There's some really cool like antique shops here.
Yeah, there are.
And so me and my crew kind of went on a field trip. We
Nice.
kind of circled the city and went
Uh-huh.
into some other places a couple
Yeah.
miles away to find some really cool stuff. But the thing about New Orleans is after Hurricane Katrina and after like all the devastation and people started
Right.
to rebuild, a lot of people recognize that some of their stuff could be used in movies just because of how it's damaged. It looks
Oh, right.
right.
aged far beyond
Interesting.
its years. And sometimes you
Right.
can find some of that cool stuff in some of these antique shops or consignment shops.
Right.
But that's one of the things I like about doing props is it's like you get to go on a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's looking,
100%.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so is that like when you're like, okay, we're all gonna go on a field trip to all these different antique shops? You guys have a list of things specifically, like, okay, we need to find
Right.
a bike. Whoever finds the best bike. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's also looking for those things that you don't know you needed.
Oh, yeah, that just pop
Right.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
This would
That
be
just,
Yeah.
perfect for this character. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And those are the fun moments. Those are the things that make this, that remind you that this job is so much fun. It's like
Yes.
you,
Yeah, and that's also one of the things that's different than shooting in LA, because
mhm.
when you're in LA, you just go to the prop house and most stuff
Yeah.
is there. And you get lazy in a lot of
Uh-huh.
ways, because it's like, it's right there. I could do that. Or,
Right.
it's not like there's not antique stores around here. There are. And anytime I'm in an antique store, whether I'm on a show or not, I'm always looking at stuff thinking, oh, that would be a good prop
Oh,
someday,
yeah.
or whatever. But again, that is one of the best parts of the job is the
Hmm.
whole shopping and the acquisition of props, and
Yeah. And I think we've gone to some of these antique shops, not just for Nickel Boys, but for other shows. We've
hmm
gone back to the same places that they start to recognize us. Like, oh,
yeah,
you're the movie people.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
nice.
What movie you doing now?
Exactly.
Right.
What do
Yeah.
we
And
need?
were you doing all purchases, or did you work out any rental agreements with these?
Um, some of them are purchase only. I mean, I
Right.
guess we could kind of sell it back to them at the end.
hmm
Um, but some of them we tend to keep because we can kind of use on another show.
Right.
I can't remember what show it was, but I found this really old Coleman cooler,
Oh yeah.
green. I think it may be
Green and white.
1960s, green and white.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I've been able to use that a couple of times on
Yeah,
Yeah.
no
different
doubt. It's
shows.
got the
So
bottle opener on the side.
yeah, yeah, it's great.
Do you have one in your garage, Chris?
No, I grew up in the 60s. What can I say?
Yeah.
We did have one in our garage for sure.
Yeah.
And those things are tanks, they'll last forever.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They don't make things like that anymore. So if you
Yeah,
find something
absolutely.
really nice, you want to hold on to it.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Um, so so Sinners, I guess we could jump right into Sinners. I mean,
Before we get into Sinners, I have one question actually.
okay, go.
I see on hold on, what was it? Oh, on Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which I guess is a good transition into Sinners because you did a vampire type of thing before. But it says you're in parentheses as Douglas Freshware. Is that a nickname of yours? It looks like there might be a story there.
It yeah, there's kind of a story.
Yeah, we need that story.
It's mostly because I wanted my mother to be able to find my name very quickly
In the credits.
in the credits.
Wow,
So if you
that's
put
cool.
something that is a long name or something that's in
It makes you
quotes,
stand out.
it makes you stand.
That's
It makes you
brilliant.
stand out. That was the only reason. That was the only justification for that. So I could quickly find my name and show my mom. It's like right there. It's right there.
That's
Um,
that's great that the producers let you do it. I mean, I
yeah.
can't. I have to fight to get PMG at the end of my name
Oh yeah.
Sometimes.
sometimes.
Yeah. But just my name being Doug. I don't know if you know the rapper Dougie Fresh.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was big in the 80s. And so
Right.
people would call me Dougie Fresh. And so that's why I used fresh, because I was like, well, what have people called me before? I was like,
yeah.
oh, fresh. So let me just use fresh.
Do you continue that today or not? You
No, not
keep the
I
credit.
haven't
Yeah.
done it in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny.
But I should. I should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might. We're bringing it back right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So when you did Nickel Boys, you worked with Ryan Coogler on that, right?
Oh, Nickel Boys?
Yeah.
No, that was Sinners.
Oh, he didn't do both.
No,
I got bad intel.
Nickel Boys was Ramel Ross.
Okay.
He was just Nickel Boys was just up for an Oscar. I don't think he won.
Right.
But yeah, that was Ramel. That was his first um what's it called? He did a documentary. I think this was his first feature film.
Mm.
Sinners was? Oh
No,
no.
Nickel Boys
Yeah.
with Ramel Ross was
Got
his.
it. Got it.
I see.
Yeah.
So how did Sinners come about for you?
Uh, same thing. That same UPM from Nickel Boys
Oh.
was on
Right.
Sinners. And in fact, I was talking to a production designer in Houston, and she was doing a Netflix show. And so she wanted me to come there to do that. She wanted me to prop master that Netflix show. But she was having trouble getting me down there because they wanted to hire somebody local in Houston. And so that was kind of dragging along slowly. And she would give me updates. She would say she's still working on it. I was like, okay, just keep me in the loop and let me know. And then this UPM called me. He was like, hey, I have something you might be interested in. And these are some of the things that you don't know go on behind the scenes. He was friends with the UPM on the Houston show. And so they had been talking, and she was kind of telling him, we can't get him there for that show. So you should go ahead and call him and see if he's available for your show. He told me this after the fact.
Right.
But it was just like, and that's the thing when I say I've kind of had it a little easy. I don't want to make it sound like it's always that way, because right now I'm not working.
Right.
But it's like when one door closes, another one opens. And when I heard about this show, I was like, yes, I want to do that. Yeah. Tell me when I start. And yeah, so.
Well, and good news spreads fast. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you're good at what you do, and you're in a smaller market. So, people get the clue, and just like you said, producers, UPMs, they talk.
Yeah.
Okay. And especially when they're coming into a region, they're like, who do you know who works here that's good? And if you're that guy, your name comes right to the top. Yeah. So that's on you, brother. Yeah. So that's awesome.
Thanks.
So,
and then
Sinners,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, let's talk about Sinners.
Oh, I was going to say the production designer on that show was Hannah Beechler. And I had actually worked with her before on a Beyonce music video. I wasn't the prop master. That was Mike Scherschel. I don't know if you know Mike Scherschel.
No.
He's in the Atlanta area.
Okay.
He was the prop master, but I think she remembered that, and I reminded her whatever. But again, it was somebody I had worked with in the past.
Sure.
And so I think that we still had a kind of a friendly relationship that just got better working on Sinners.
Yeah. Sinners seemed to be, so did that feel, I mean, a lot more ambitious than a lot of, it looks like the rest of your resume going through. Did it feel like that when you read the script the first run through?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially the big fight scene in the juke joint.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, oh my gosh. One, this is overwhelming. But two, this sounds like so much fun. There's blood, there's vampire stakes. I was excited.
Yeah, and you got a Brooke Eaton to armor for you, right?
Yes, yeah. Brooke is also the president of our union, but I've known him before he got that job. He was doing what was that show? NCIS New Orleans,
Mm.
and I met him on a couple other shows, day playing. But yeah, he was great.
Yeah, and also he's one of the official spokespeople for weapon safety in IATSE now too.
Yeah, I've taken his class a couple
Oh,
times.
right.
Yeah, alongside Larry, pretty much. Uh,
Mhm.
so that I mean, the gun work alone in there is like pretty incredible. Was he on
Yeah,
the whole show with you, or
he was. Yes.
yeah?
We had another armorer just for training out in LA for Michael
Mm.
B. Jordan.
Okay.
Hmm.
But here in New Orleans, once we started shooting, once into prep, and once we started shooting, Brooke was our guy from start to finish.
Yeah.
Wow. And had you done a lot of gun work before this?
Um, no. Aside from like handing out rubber rifles on
Sure.
Free State of Jones, no, those shows had armorers for those shows as well.
So it was all blank firing then.
Yes,
Awesome.
Yeah, nice.
or the green gas.
Airs, airsoft. Yeah,
Order gas. Yeah.
nice. And you had Tommy guns in that, right?
Yeah, Ryan Coogler from first day of prep, or when we first started talking about guns, he was like, "I want that Tommy gun. I have to have the Tommy gun for it," because I think he already had that scene in his head of how he wanted it to look, and going
Right.
into slow mo.
And it's the 30s.
And it's the 30s, yeah. So we contacted ISS, and Brooke was in contact with them as well. And when we saw I think after we shot that scene, they showed us the dailies,
Right.
and just seeing that Tommy gun and in the slow motion, I was like,
Yeah.
that just looks
Yeah, you can't CGI that
amazing.
stuff. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
mean, you could, but it's just not the same thing. I mean, that thing
Mhm.
is that's a machine,
Yeah.
that Tommy gun.
Yeah. I think we had two of them and one rubber,
Right.
because he has to lay it in the dirt, and we were concerned with dirt getting in there and
Oh
Sure.
yeah.
jamming it up or something. But yeah, those things that it's times like that where you think to yourself, it's all worthwhile. Just
Right.
going through all the meetings and all the prep work and all the side conversations. But then when you see it on screen, it's like, okay,
Yeah, it's magic. It really is.
yeah,
It's amazing because even when you're there, you can't get like, the full scope of what happens after when they edit.
yeah,
It's just amazing.
yeah. And movie like Sinners, sometimes you don't have, as cool as it looks, you don't have time to stand around and watch because you're
That's for
getting
sure.
ready for the next thing. And something I learned is Ryan likes to shoot and move on and get to the
Right.
next thing. So I didn't want props. I didn't want anybody to be waiting on props. You never want to hear waiting on props over the radio.
Nope.
It's like, so you can see it later. You'll have
Yeah,
plenty of time to see it.
100%.
Let's get
That's
the
right.
next thing going.
When it's done, you're like, okay, moving on. Got that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So was it a decent schedule or were you guys jamming the whole time?
It started as a decent schedule, and there were no problems with the schedule. It was the weather that got
Mm,
to us.
I
And
see.
it rained. There were so many days we had scheduled for exterior shoots,
Right.
exterior scenes, and the rain just kind of
And you
washed us out.
ran out of cover sets.
Yeah. And that was the other thing. We only had one cover set available.
Mm,
And it was a really tiny room. It was a tiny room in the juke joint where Mary bites
mm,
Stack. But that was the only room that was ready at the time. Eventually, of course, we got to the interior of the juke joint. But early in the schedule, yeah, we only had one cover set.
wow.
So those dry days were very valuable, and we had to get as much out of them as we could.
I see.
But that exterior juke joint was surrounded by dirt. So when it rained in Louisiana, everything's almost turns into a swamp.
Yeah.
Right.
So we lost a couple of days there.
And then the
Just
mosquitoes.
the the mosquitoes. The exterior juke joint was on a bayou, so there were gators, there were alligators.
Oh man.
Yeah,
And
we had it.
moths, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, because I remember when I shot New Orleans, it's like, oh, it's all nice. There's bugs, but then they turned the lights on, and then the moths came. It was like snow. It's crazy.
yeah, yeah. And we had an
Sounds
animal
brutal.
wrangler because there's also snakes.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, watch where you walk. Don't wander off into the sticks
Yep.
and just stay somewhere safe. But aside from the heat, then you have all the critters.
Yeah.
So it's so
If
much.
you guys are dealing with that much rain too, like, does production come to a stop for every time that happens? You guys just pause, or like, what happens if you just need all these scenes to be dry and they're all
Uh,
exterior? Like, what happens in a place that happens so much?
yeah.
How do you guys
Um,
handle that?
if you're lucky, you can just, pause, tell everybody to stand by. And once this little storm passes,
Yeah, because they're usually
then,
like 10 minutes, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But there was one day on Sinners, um, first thing in the morning, it's the scene where the guys are driving by in the car and they see the chain gang.
Hmm.
So everybody was dressed, everybody was in the car. The chain gang guys had on their shackles and their tools. And right when the first AD was ready to call action, it started to rain.
Oh no.
And it rained for 5 hours. We lost that whole day. Oh, and there was also a tornado warning.
Yike.
Yeah. So
So
those,
the guys on the chain gang, were they all in rigged cuffs, or did you have to go and lock them all?
oh no, they were rigged
Okay.
just in case, because we knew there were storms in the area because of that
Right.
time of year. It was around this time of year. They just pop up. So it's like, let's just butyl them together, or they had
Right.
these thick wool socks. And so that helped keep them on.
Yeah.
So if we did need to get them off, they weren't locked, so they could just kind of pull them off themselves. But yeah, we lost the whole day to rain and a possible tornado warning.
Wow.
But on other shows, like on Queen Sugar, it would rain, and so we would just wait it out
Right.
and then continue from there.
Yeah. It's not an issue in LA.
No,
People in LA don't even know what cover sets are,
yeah,
you never need them.
yeah.
That's
Was
amazing.
My
most was
dad,
most Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say, my dad lives in LA, so anytime he comes here and it rains, he just wants to stand outside and just watch
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that for sure.
Yeah.
Did you do most of the sourcing for Sinners and like how you were talking about earlier in antique shops and going around?
Yeah, antique shops, consignment shops, eBay. You can find a lot of old things on eBay, or
Yeah.
period appropriate for that time.
How about like the
Um,
guitars and musical instruments and stuff?
Yeah, sweet,
It had to
sweet
be like
guitar in
they
that
have to be
movie.
like practical. They look really good.
yeah.
Fresh.
So that was a thing.
That
I'm
was the
sure it
thing.
was.
So we had several guitars. The first guitar, the
Matching.
original the original guitar in the script was supposed to be Haint Blue,
Oh,
because
Huh,
that's a thing about the spirit world,
okay.
and something that's painted Haint Blue is supposed to look like water because these spirits can't cross water, they can't swim, and something about the sky being blue, they get lost in the sky, so it kind of immobilizes them.
right.
That's cool.
Anyway, so Ryan wanted Sammy's guitar to be Haint Blue. So we found the right guitar. We got two of them. They weren't Haint Blue. We had to send them out to a painter
Wow.
to paint them. And in the process of her painting them, it was decided that the guitar wants to be black now. So,
Of course it does.
That was like just a shift in Ryan's mind at some point, or
well, I think Ryan and Ludwig, the composer, and I don't know, I wasn't part of that meeting, but at some point I was just informed
You got to
we want
know.
the guitar to be black. Yeah, I got a note. We want the guitars to be black now. And it just so
had you
happens,
already painted them?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were
Of
Yeah.
course
they
you
were
did.
primed, they were
Paint blue.
painted, we were ready to bring them back to show. And then yeah, I got that note. We want the guitars to be black, but also Ludwig, the guitar that Sammy plays in the movie, he already owned those.
Wow.
So I think he, again, I wasn't part of that conversation, but I think he wanted to use those.
Sure.
And I mean, that's fine. It's his music, but yeah, those are things that happen in props. You
Yeah,
prep, you get one thing ready to go,
that's it.
and
And
then
you
it's like,
pivot.
let's pivot, and yeah, exactly. We want something else, and so
So,
of course, you're saying not out loud. You're just like,
yeah.
and you're like, okay, no problem, and then you just go do it.
And then you run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I just worked on or I'm working on a thing. I showed the director thing something weeks ago or whatever. That was a little, it's different from what's scripted, but it's like way better. And I was like, this fits the story so much better. And he was like over the moon about it. He's like, oh yeah, definitely. This is it. This is
Uh-huh.
great. We're using it. And then that was like 3 weeks ago. And like we had our big like round, like our page turn, our department head page turn the other day. And he's going through, and then they said what's scripted. What's scripted is still in there. It hasn't changed yet. So he goes, oh, and then this, and then the first AD looks over and he goes, but that's changed, right? It's going to be what you mentioned. And then the director goes, yeah, is there any reason why we're not doing what's scripted? And I was like, because you liked what I showed you a million times better. And he took a beat and was like, oh yeah, that's right. I did. Yeah, we're doing that thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
don't give me a heart attack.
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I mean, it's so true. I mean, props are our whole world, and in their world, it's just a small part of their world, you know. And it's
Yeah.
I
No,
did
an approval is everything.
and
Yeah.
approval is everything, exactly for that very reason.
Yeah.
I think on the last podcast I was talking about having to do these rocks for my show where they wanted it was scripted several dozen rocks painted with "You Rock" on it as a gift, right? And I'm like, okay, I could do that, several
Yeah.
dozen. So we found all these rocks, and then I go into the concept meeting, and the writer's like, oh yeah, you know, it's kind of like it's kind of like a misdirect there. He goes, when I said several dozen, I meant hundreds.
Jeez.
What?
I'm like, wait a minute, that's a completely different
Oh.
Magilla.
Several dozen.
Yeah,
Oh.
several dozen is hundreds. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that guitar, so did you end up using Ludwig's actual guitar?
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
you had one?
He had two.
He had two.
You had
That's
two
He had
matching
two of them.
guitars?
He had two matching
Wow.
guitars. Yeah.
and the
That is
resonator,
funky.
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That's good sound out of that thing.
Yeah. And we tried to find another one to buy. And that original, that original resonator was part of, there's a whole group of collectors that have an original, resonator. And some of them were outside of our budget.
I'm sure they were.
Some of them were outside of our budget. So we had to be very careful with the two that we had. And a quick story. So in the movie, when Sammy is fighting with Remick and he hits him with the guitar. So we had the breakaway guitars. I think we had like 20 of them.
Oh, nice.
And we only used 3. So yeah. But the script supervisor was like, hey, looking at playback, you can tell that that guitar is fake. Can we put the real guitar in the water? And so Ryan looks at me and was like, well, that's a prop decision.
Wow.
And
the answer is no.
It's one of those quick things you play through your head. Like, it's like, you want to say yes, but it's
of course you do.
No, because 1, it's an original. 2, I don't know what the water is going to do if it gets in the guitar.
Right.
And that guitar dries. Is it going to expand? Is it going to change the sound? And we still
Yeah.
hadn't shot that big music number.
Yeah.
So he still had to play the guitar. And so it was a quick, no, I can't. No, I'll fall on my sword for that one. But no, I don't want to.
Good thing it wasn't a Tarantino movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, mention the Hateful Eight story. Yeah.
Yes,
You ever
exactly.
heard of the guitar and the Hateful Eight?
Yeah. And the other thing was, I happened to be on set that day because my assistant prop master on the show, she found out she was expecting. She and her husband were having their first child, and so she was still early, but she was she was at the point where she was having morning sickness.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had told her to stay home for like 2 days. And so thinking about putting that guitar in the water, I wasn't thinking about Ludwig, the composer. I was thinking about my assistant prop master coming back and killing me
Right, for
because I
giving her a
put
warped
this,
guitar.
yeah, for putting this hero guitar in this dirty, muddy water. And we still had scenes to shoot. So it's like, I'm not so concerned sometimes with the wrath of the director. It's my on-set person.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
When
So,
you were shopping for those guitars though, like how much were they running? How much were they going for? Were they like
Um,
is it like a quenching number? Is it crazy?
yeah. So Guitar Center had like knockoffs that were like
hmm
less than $500.
hmm
Okay.
But on some of these like guitar chat rooms, they
right.
were $3,000-$4,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and then a couple of them were for some strange reason in England.
Huh.
And so even just the
Interesting.
shipping, trying to get them, here to the
Yeah.
States would have been
Scary.
a hassle. Yeah. And
Yeah.
will it arrive on time? So
Right.
it's just like,
Who made your breakaways?
oh, those were made by Spectrum.
Oh, cool. Is that
Yeah.
a local shop or?
Yeah, Spectrum Effects is over there, maybe a 45-minute drive away from New Orleans.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Um,
And
I don't know if you know are familiar with the stunt guy Matt Kutcher.
oh, I know
No,
that name. Yeah.
yeah, he does stunts. He also does a lot of effects.
Mm.
But I think they're the biggest, or they might be the only like manufacturer here in this area, or at least
Mm.
close to the New Orleans area.
Right.
Oh, cool. So did they do a lot of like your rubbers and stuff like
Yeah,
that also?
they did the breakaway guitars. They did the retractable vampire stakes.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
I'm trying to think. Oh, they did the Molotov cocktail that Grace throws at the door. The grenade. One of my concerns was Michael B. Jordan when he pulls the grenade and having a grenade that actually you see the pin,
Right.
fly off and he throws it. And so they made those for us.
Nice.
I think they made maybe 10 of those. But they look great and
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
turnaround time is very fast. So
That's key.
yeah.
That's
Oh
for sure.
yeah.
So how did you end up, or how did you arrive at 20 breakaway guitars? Did somebody at some point say you're gonna need
Um
20? I mean,
Not the angles of this thing.
yeah, I think that was the thought going into it was how many times are we going to see him break it on this side?
right.
How many times on that side of the camera, and how many
Yeah.
rehearsals, might do they
Right.
want to have? So that's one of the
Yeah.
things I've also learned about props is to overestimate
Yeah.
the amount of what you're going
Yes.
like the rocks.
Right,
Like
exactly.
the
Right,
rocks.
so yeah, but that's always my first question. How many takes do you want? Whatever they
Yeah.
say, I double it
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
But then I usually have a producer in my ear. Why are you making so many of those? I'm
Exactly.
like,
Oh yeah, I've had a couple of side conversations with a couple of producers about my budget. But the thing for me is in the end, it all went on screen.
yeah,
It's not like,
that's the thing about props.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's always my argument. I'm like, that's going to be on camera. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
what was your budget? I mean, did you have a decent budget on this?
we had I think it was 270,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went up once I saw all the effects, all the visual effects and all the stunts. And yeah, I had to go back in and was like, okay, I need to double this or triple this or make sure we haven't, like the guitars, I need to make sure we have enough. We also had silent guitars. We had so many guitars. Jeez, we had so many guitars. We had silent guitars because there was a scene where Sammy's playing the guitar in the car while somebody's talking.
Right.
So we wanted to have a silent guitar so he could still do the finger motions, but without the actual playing.
Yeah.
And those weren't cheap either. So,
no.
Yeah.
And so he actually played the guitar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was he's he's a real singer and a real musician. And I think
Hmm.
this was his first acting gig. But
Right.
yeah, all those times you see him singing or playing, he's actually doing it.
Did you have like a guitar tech on board, or I mean, keeping who tuned the guitar? Was it you guys, or did he do
Yeah,
it?
Ludwig had a guy come who was on standby, and he would always check in with us either first thing in the morning to tune the guitars or at wrap. So if there's something the next day, he could keep them tuned, which is why we had two, so he could tune one while the other one's on set, and we just kind of went back and forth. What was his name? His name was Noah.
Ah,
And I think it was actually his first time on a movie set because he was like unsure of what was going on.
where to
Um,
be?
yeah, exactly. We were like, "Hey, do you want a walkie?" He was like, "What do I need a walkie for?" But in case we need to call you to tune this. But I think after a couple of days, he kind of got
Right.
into it. And yeah,
What do you
That's
think the most challenging props on this movie were to kind of get finalized, and what had you slamming your head against the wall the most?
oh wow. Let me think. Maybe. I mean, it seems like an easy thing, but the watch.
Oh yeah, no,
Brooks
it's always
watch. Yeah, I mean, the first watch we had was a little, and that's why it's good to have like these camera tests. But the first watch, it would catch on his sleeve and
right.
it would kind of ruffle the sleeve and kind of, it just looked awkward. So we found this other watch, which took us a while to find. And we had to find one that worked. And when it was a vintage World War I trench watch.
Oh, right.
So again, we
Mhm.
had to find matching watches. And of
right.
course, we couldn't
Yeah,
find, I think we had two. We had four in total, but two of them didn't work, and two of them were for the stunt guy. But the grenades were difficult. It took us a while to figure out how to do that. What I'm trying to think of what else was on there. I haven't watched it in a while, so I forgot what some of the props were.
the grenades were
Um,
difficult to get them to spring out the way that you wanted to for the shot, or
yeah, because we had a couple. I had a couple of like metal, like the real inert grenades, but I didn't
yeah,
want Michael B. Jordan throwing those, into a
no,
bar with stunt guys, and
yeah,
those were mostly just for like close-ups. Then we had like what are those things called? Like stress, not like stress ball, but like a foamy
yeah,
kind
Hmm.
of grenade that
Right.
was more for safety, but it didn't have the spring effect
Sure.
right,
that we wanted, and it was kind of a neon green. We tried to paint them, but the paint didn't stick.
yeah,
And then it
That's
was okay. Let's talk to producers and special effects and see how much we can spend on getting these grenades made. And those worked out fine, but of course, like we mentioned, I had to have that little side conversation about spending money.
yeah.
right.
But yeah, but other than that, everything else was kind of straightforward. It was, I don't want to say it was easy or simple,
Right.
but it was it.
Yeah, and I mean,
It's
how approachable was Ryan Coogler as a director, I guess.
oh my gosh, he's great.
Yeah,
He's the way you see him in interviews or whatever. That's exactly how he is.
yeah,
There's no interview Ryan as opposed to on
Hmm.
set Ryan. He's the same guy all the time. He's very open to suggestions.
oh
He may
cool,
Nice.
not he may not take all of them. He'll take them into consideration, and if he doesn't think it works, he won't go with it. If it's something that
Right.
he likes, um, a perfect example of that is the Mojo bag that Smoke has,
Hmm.
and towards the end of the movie when he takes it off right before the big shootout. And originally in the script, he was supposed to take his knife and cut
Oh,
it off.
right.
And I was a little concerned about him putting a knife close to his neck. Like, is he going to do
Yeah.
it the same way,
Make
but
it a little.
also for safety?
Yeah.
And so I suggested to Ryan, hey, what if we put a magnet in the back when those strong
Yeah.
yeah, totally,
strong magnets that props
Rare
with.
earth.
And instead of cutting it, he just kind of gives it a good tug.
yeah, yeah,
And he was like, "Oh, that's great. We can definitely that's." And so mocked up a couple to show him how it works and how it's not just going to fall off. He actually has to give it a
Yeah.
good tug, and he thought that was great. It also helped with costumes because when Smoke goes to Annie's shop, he takes it off. And originally it was supposed to be under his shirt. And so I was like, well, if he does this, he can take it off quicker as opposed to having to unbutton the shirt and take it off. So that goes into resets. How long do you have
Yeah,
for
totally.
resets? And so that's the thing about, I think, not just props, but working with other departments.
Yep.
You get to help other departments, in their whatever they have to do. And so I think costumes was very appreciative that saved them some time as well.
Yeah. So if you ever had a question, it was really easy to ask him, and you just pop into his office and and you can get the answer pretty quickly.
No, because in prep he was hard to reach. He was always either doing rewrites or he was in meetings with other departments or doing read-throughs with his cast. There were several times I would leave things on a table outside of his office for his assistant to get him to look at so we could, sign off on some things.
I'm going through that. Like I had to pull teeth to get a show and tell on this show.
Yeah.
And I got kind of like a half-assed one. They're like, you can have them for 15 minutes. I'm like,
yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you gotta hit them with your biggest questions.
I know, but that's but I like tried to strategically in the office, like I set up my tables on the hallway to his office. So like in our office would be right out. So every day we would get like the director would pass by the tables and he'd be like, "Oh, these basketballs are absolutely perfect." We're like, "Well, there's one approval."
Nice. Yeah.
Like,
that's what you have to do.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, or the bow on this needs to be yellow. It's like, okay, we're getting subtle notes and then we can hopefully get our 15 minutes to just out the rest.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Totally different. And seeing the first AD's face when I was like, hey, I need to schedule my show and tell if it can be some of this week. Like, I don't think you're going to get it. It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't think I'm going to get it?
Yeah, I had a very similar situation. I had a table right by his office.
Yeah.
He has to pass it to get to his office.
Yeah.
And they would sit for days.
Yep.
It's like, hey, and I would check in. It's like, hey, did he see? And I would know he was in his office because the door's closed.
Yeah.
And I would talk to his assistant, like, did he see? Did he say anything? Like, no, come back.
Not today.
We're getting so close. I need answers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's where that relationship with the assistant is crucial.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Got to make friends with the assistants.
Yeah, it's
real
huge.
quick.
Yeah.
Oh, I will say, back to your original question, was there a prop that was a little hard to come by or difficult? Remick has gold coins that he carries.
Right.
And Ryan wanted to be a Celtic coin, but not just any coin. He wanted to know where it came from, where it was made. I mean, of course, we had them fabricated, but if it was the original, where it came from, what century, what year, what was the design on it? Did it have any kind of meaning? And so a lot of research went into that. And I did a kind of a deep dive into these Celtic coins, and I learned that the Celtics copied their coins from the Greeks. And so I had to explain that to Ryan and explain what the symbol or whatever it is on the coin meant.
Right.
But again, that was another thing. I had to wait a couple of days and I was like, I need to find out if he likes this. Do I need to make a different version?
Right.
And so I think that one kind of definitely kind of stressed me out because it was.
I'll bet.
I don't think it took away from the story, but it was important to that character to have the right look.
Right.
And so, yeah, that one kind of.
And did you guys custom made those?
We had those custom made at HPR Customs.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they looked great. They had the right weight. They felt like real coins.
What were they made out of? Like, what was the metal they were using? You remember?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't remember. But they felt great. They had the right weight.
Yeah.
Like a real gold coin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
When you did get it in the director's hand, he liked it.
he liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I think the only thing we had to go back in is make him a little bit bigger.
yeah.
Mm.
But aside from that, yeah, he signed off on that right
Good.
away when he finally got to take a look at
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Did you have a favorite prop that you had to make on that show?
it. Let me think. Uh, no. Geez, I'm trying to remember what we had.
It's the stuff we already mentioned.
Yeah, I think the
Remember that
Mojo.
coin? Yeah,
Oh, back
coin is
to the
sick.
Mojo bag. We
The
had to
Mojo bag.
early renditions of those we had to hand make. Um,
Was
and they started off really big, but then eventually Ryan said he wanted them smaller, something that could fit under his shirt and wouldn't, be bulky and stick out. And some of our earlier versions definitely didn't fit. And they were made out of like a hemp material.
Yeah.
Um, and then also talking with costumes, Ruth Carter was the costume designer,
wow,
and
nice.
and she had a lot of input into some of the things that actually went on to the
Yep.
characters. So again, talking with her was like that was the first time I worked with her, even though I've seen her work in other movies that I've
Yeah.
watched. But yeah, she was great. She was very helpful as well. Oh,
Yeah.
Smokes holsters.
Ah.
Mhm.
He has the two-sided shoulder holsters,
Right.
and we couldn't find the right look for his costume. So
Mm.
we had to have those custom made.
Oh,
Wow.
We got so many we bought some, we got some from rental houses. And they just didn't, I don't, between Ruth and Ryan, it was just none of them had the right look.
What was the weapon that had to go in there?
He had a 1911
Okay.
yeah.
on both sides. And so we found a local leather maker,
Mm.
and he made three of those for us. And I
Oh,
think
cool.
there were a couple times I had to go to a shop at midnight to pick them up because we wanted to get them on Michael B. Jordan to fit them, and he made them so they're easily adjustable.
Right.
Then he put a belt loop in them, so when he pulls his
Yeah.
weapon, it doesn't get stuck or
Yep.
twist. But those again, those were almost an 11th hour kind of thing because we just couldn't find the right fit. But
Right.
this guy came through
Yeah.
for us.
Holsters can be a complete nightmare.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I told the guy that made them for us. So we had three holsters. Ruth took one because I think that's in her contract or whatever. And then
Mhm.
the other two went for reshoots. If we thought we were going to have reshoots.
Right.
But the guy that made them was like, at some point, I'm going to call you and ask you to make, two more just so I can have in my kit because they
Right.
look so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, that was probably one of the most difficult things to come by to get signed off on again
Sure.
from the director from Ryan.
Well,
Was it just hard to find them in leather, or what was like? How was the differentiation one from the ones that you were renting, from the ones you had to make? Was it just
Yeah,
putting boots and stuff too?
I think it was one, the material, the
Yeah.
leather. We
Yeah.
had like the faux leather, but they didn't, again, they were very
yeah.
bulky.
Yeah.
And he wears that really nice suit, and you didn't want something to like
Yep.
be sticking out. And it was almost like part of his character is you don't know he's
Right.
packing heat.
Yeah.
So you don't want something, sticking out. And then I looked at a lot of old movies. What was the movie with Bruce Willis? The Last Man Standing.
Yeah.
Mm.
He wears a two-sided shoulder holster. But I just couldn't find none of the prop houses that I contacted had the right kind. And then I even started calling like actual holster makers
Yeah.
Right.
to see what they had. And they had some nice ones, but their turnaround time, if
Yeah.
I had just contacted them a week or two earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it came down to not pretty much a time crunch. Like, what can we
Yeah.
get here as fast as
That's
possible?
always a factor.
Yeah. And so again, the holsters were expensive, but it went on
Worth
screen. They
it.
look great.
Yeah. No, it's such a hero prop too. It's the
Yeah.
like, you got to put money into the into those things that help build that character. Because
Yeah.
those, I mean, every single shot you see, I think the cover of a lot of the movies, it's like it's that those things are front and center, you know?
Yeah. The movie poster, you see them, they're right
Yeah, they're
there.
right there. Like the
Yeah.
first shot of the trailer, it's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So it's such a staple of it, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then when you see something like that, you was like, okay, it's money well spent. It was
Oh
worth
yeah,
the hassle to get the right look.
definitely.
Yeah.
So, but and I know you had a lot of conversations about budget, but did you get a lot of pushback, or were they pretty much working with you?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both. Halfway through, when the numbers started coming in for how much the guitars were costing and
Hmm.
the grenades and the vampire stakes, it was like, okay, let's take a pause here. Let's talk about. I mean, they were already fabricated and paid for.
Right.
Like, what do you want me to do now? It's like they're already paid for. Why are we having this conversation? It's
Yeah.
You
again,
just got
it's
to talk it out.
yeah, it's going on screen. And I think one of the things that was mentioned to me is when you spend this amount of money, we should talk to the director to see if he wants to spend
Right.
that.
Right.
But again, sometimes it's hard to get a conversation.
Yeah.
The vampire
Directors don't want
stakes.
to hear that
Well,
either.
and yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. And our job is not to ask the director if he wants to spend money on stuff. That's your job as a producer.
Yeah, it
So
is.
you go
right.
have that conversation. Let me know how it goes, because I can make it or I cannot make it, So,
Yeah, yeah.
but they always want to make you be the bad guy and go in
Oh,
there
of
and have that
course.
conversation, try to talk them out of it. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
no, I'm not doing that. I've had my
yeah.
head handed to me way too many times
Hmm.
to do that.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where if you don't have it, it's your fault.
Right.
If
Yeah,
you have it and you don't use it, at least you were prepared for it. So it's
totally.
Right.
like,
And it's also the thing. It's like there's the right thing and then there's the cheap thing. And
yeah,
you want to have the right thing. It's I'm not
yeah,
going to have the cheap thing because
Well,
that's not.
and and it's always your prerogative to have the cheap thing, but just look so that that's what you're going to get, and you're making
right,
that decision, not me.
Yeah.
right,
So
yeah,
that's a huge distinction for sure.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, you will be the one standing there having to explain why what the director wanted isn't there,
yeah, yeah,
and you'll get no backup.
yeah.
So,
And I've had those conversations when I was a prop assistant. Um, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but my prop master did something that I had to answer for,
right,
and it was just like I can only give you what was given to me.
right.
Yeah.
And so again, I don't want to badmouth anybody, but
Sure, it
sometimes
happens.
being in those situations is tough.
Yeah, well, and that is the tough part of being the assistant prop master, the one on set, is
Hmm.
that no matter what happens, what happened beforehand, what decisions were made, at the end of the day, you're standing there on set, the prop master's at home in bed,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
and you have to come up with or try to explain why it's not
Yeah.
they
I've
want.
yeah, I've been there too. I've been there where it's just like, hey, this is the wrong thing, and they'll be like, oh, well, maybe they just won't notice. It's like, when
Yeah,
they do, when they do, I'm the one that they're gonna look at.
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it's
And that's
easy to try to make a shortcut when you're not going to be staying there holding the thing.
yeah. And that's one of the things I try to do with my crew is make sure that they're prepared, that they
Yeah.
have what they need,
Yep.
so they don't have, so it
yeah,
doesn't come down on them.
Right. And that's a good note for assistant prop people, because I appreciate too, because when you're prepping, especially on a TV show, you have so
Hmm.
many things in your head, so many things that you're doing, plus the next episode that's coming down the road.
Yeah.
And we always, commiserate with one of our people every day before for the next day. And
Hmm.
I encourage them to say, you tell me if I'm missing something here.
Yeah.
If you think I'm going to hamstring you guys in any way, you got to let me know because I don't want to hang you out to dry either.
yeah,
And you guys certainly don't want to either. So speak up, tell me,
yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm not going to remember every little thing, or I'm not
yeah.
going to think about everything. So
Yeah.
that's what makes it such a great team effort, when all
Mhm.
the players are paying attention and everybody is, has a stake in the game. You work as a team and
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
you don't miss anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was doing Queen Sugar, we had this huge dinner scene, and it was shot. They did block shooting, and I think it was an 8-person dinner scene and doing block shooting. And so my assistant prop master, I just turned it over to her and let her do it so she could keep everything, she can keep track of what's going on. And so when I had time, I came back to help out. And it was more of, I'm here now, let me take over. It was more of, I'm here, what can I do to help you?
Right.
And
Yeah.
it just kind of keeps that continuity, keeps everything, in order. And so that was one of the things I learned of not trying to micromanage, but actually when I have the time to actually come in and help,
Right.
help us get through the day.
Yeah. That's always my challenge
Yeah.
Yeah.
is to not take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious just I mean, it's New Orleans has had a tough time over the past I mean 10 years probably with ups
Mhm.
and downs and stuff like that. How has that been for you? I guess and have you been able to stay positive and try to not leave this industry that obviously you found a love for in prop mastering and stuff like that. So how has it been?
Um, Up until I think COVID, you know, there were several shows going at one time,
Yeah.
Right.
and everybody was able to work and able to go sometimes almost from one show to the next.
Yeah.
And then after COVID and after the strike is when it really start to catch up with us. There were a few shows after the strike, but not many. And so I've been able to stay positive because I've been able to work, maybe not as consistently as I have, but I had after COVID, I had the Nickel Boys, and then that
Hmm.
took me to Christmas. And then the following year is when Sinners came.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Yeah.
Well,
So it
that was
was,
good.
Oh, it's taken a while to come out for Sinners to come out then, huh?
yeah, we finished Sinners about this time last year.
Okay. Not too long.
Wait, am I getting my years mixed up? Yeah, that was last year. And then, oh, there was another show in between there. So I missed a
Right.
year.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I actually had a show in North Carolina that was episodic. And then that's when the strike hit.
Mm.
And so after that, it slowed down. And then Nickel Boys came the following year. So yeah, I missed a year in there. But um, yeah, I've kind of been able to stay positive because I've had a few other things. I did something for the Super Bowl this past February.
Nice.
Um, a show for the Food Network, a small documentary about Hurricane Katrina.
Mm.
So there's been some work here and there, but at right about now is when it's dead, and that's when you start to
Yeah.
rethink your career path. Um, but we were talking earlier before we officially started. There was a show that we were scheduled to start last month, and
Yeah.
it
Hmm.
got pushed to January. And so that's what kind of keeps me positive is there's still a glimmer, there's still a glimmer of hope. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
It's just we have to get through the
Right.
Yeah.
tunnel. And
Yeah.
so there's still some this I haven't decided to leave this industry just yet.
Yeah.
Um, I have thought about maybe going into substitute teaching
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
to, keep the lights
Yeah. That's a
on.
good fallback.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
what how's the incentives and stuff looking in New Orleans? Are they
so we just legislation just passed a new tax incentive where we were at 150 million, and so they cut it a little. We're at 125 million. So not much, but we're still competitive with other states. And there's some other things in the bill. I don't I understand them, but it's hard to explain. But like with episodic shows, if they come back, they get a certain
Right.
Yeah.
amount or they get a certain incentive
Yeah.
or a
So
boost.
there is something at least.
Oh yeah. So the
Right.
incentive is here. Now
Right.
it's just, making those calls to those
Yeah.
Right.
studios or those producers to get shows here. And again, we were talking earlier, we have things on our production report that are at this point rumors. There are some things that are waiting for green light. So yeah, we haven't given up hope completely. We're
Yeah.
still,
Right.
we're still
Yeah.
here.
Somebody on Cruise Stories said, you heard the phrase "stay alive" and to 25. So they changed it now to "stay alive" to the end of 25. And then somebody posted "turning tricks in 26."
Yeah.
So hopefully we won't get there, but
Yeah. There's supposed to
I
be
do feel there's motion
yeah.
happening
There's
everywhere.
talk of a Taylor Sheridan spinoff coming here.
Oh,
Oh, I
cool.
heard about that.
Yeah, Nola King.
Okay, well,
So I
that'd be a
think
good
that
place to shoot it.
yeah. So I think that's what keeps a lot of people positive is okay, there are things happening. It's
Yeah,
just we need to get to that point of, you know,
exactly.
Yeah.
so
Cool. All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you're working soon
yeah. Yeah,
and
me too.
things happen. So, what are you doing with
So
yourself in the downtime?
actually I've started writing.
Oh
Yes.
wow.
I've actually
Nice.
started writing a couple of shorts. So I'm still doing that, and it's also a good sort of an escape. I don't worry about work
Yeah,
all the time, but
right.
it's just something to do and to kind of again, it's a pivot. You
Yeah.
know, um,
Always got to be pivoting for
yeah.
sure.
So I've been doing that. Other than that, just waiting by the phone.
Yeah.
Doing some of these smaller things like that Super Bowl thing. I did one other thing. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, there is commercial work here, so that's keeping some of us,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
afloat and some small indie stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but when I was actually when the Prop Master Guild started, and I saw you guys were doing podcasts, I was like, oh man, I want to be on there one day,
Yeah.
and here we are.
Awesome.
Excellent. It was great too. I love having you on. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
Well,
fun.
so and again, everybody, look for Doug in the next issue of Prop
Oh
Culture.
gosh, oh, when does that come
Yeah.
out?
Yeah, when does it come out? Soon.
I think in a
Soon.
couple weeks.
Couple
Okay.
weit's from now, whenever that is.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
I
probably gonna
think
be
it's
out by
coming
the
out
time this
around the time that this podcast drops.
drops. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Be coming
should
out.
be
Yeah.
right there, coinciding perfectly.
Yeah, no,
Like we planned it.
I already read the article. It already
Oh
it's a good
nice.
article. Yeah, it's a good article.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. We
This
got
is my
our sneak preview.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my fourth, I guess, sort of interview. I did
Oh, nice.
I did something here at a local university at Dillard University,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a smaller version of Comic Con
Oh, okay.
here. I
Nice.
did a print interview for GQ because there's like
Oh,
watch
cool.
collectors that
Yeah,
wanted to know about Smokes Watch. So I've
cool.
done a lot of
Very
interviews
cool.
for this one movie. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, if
Hey,
anything,
man.
yeah, if anything, hopefully it will boost your you on the call list for New Orleans.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a launching pad for
Yeah,
sure.
I'd love it.
For
Yeah.
sure.
That's great. I can't wait to add PMG to the end of my name instead of
Yeah,
fresh.
And start
exactly. And maybe next year you'll be out for the awards show.
Yeah, I definitely
Get
want to.
get a nomination out of that thing for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna call some people and be like, hey, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again for doing this on a Sunday morning.
Oh, my pleasure. Hope to
Cool.
do it again
Mikey,
sometime.
Yeah,
yeah, for
definitely.
sure. Next big one.
Yeah.
All right, Mikey, you have stuff?
Yeah. So like we have a PMG magazine as we mentioned. I might as well plug that a little bit. It's called Prop Culture. You could go to our website and subscribe to that. Also, I think if you go to propculture.com, there's you can actually subscribe
Unlinked.
there too. Yeah. So anybody that wants to check out the magazine, I think there's like 4 issues out now. So um,
Yeah.
all things props, all things about the prop masters and how they were created. We also have an award show, as we mentioned, coming up. Is this going to be? Well, yes, yeah, okay.
It's gonna be right on the precipice.
This could
Yeah.
be right. Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be mid September. I don't
Okay.
September 13th.
13. Yeah,
13th. Yeah.
13.
So, I mean, it might be sold out by the time you're hearing this, but you should check and see for tickets anyway. Happening at the Paramount Theater in Los Angeles. So, make sure check it out. The only award show honoring prop masters. This has been another episode of Prop Talk, the official podcast of the Property Masters Guild, brought to you by real working, retired, and associate property masters. Yeah, if this is your first time listening, make sure to go and like, subscribe on all the socials, leave a comment. We always like to hear feedback. If you want to hear somebody specific, want us to interview anybody here on Prop Talk, send us a message and let us know. We'll work hard to get them on here and hear about all the lovely props that they've made. Yeah. Follow us on all the socials at _ the PMG, or just look up Property Masters Guild on any of them. And that is it.
Cool. Peace, people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks again. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.
Appreciate it.